council has assembled. They are eager to hear your report.
Council members, Redna? Really? Mute me? All right, take two. Good evening. We begin tonight's meeting of the council by calling the council to order. Hello to everyone, and thank you for joining us. The council is a live Twitch talk show and podcast discussing Star Wars: The Old Republic. I am Elise, and with me are my fellow council members, Redna.
Hello.
Magic Ace.
Yo.
And Sechari is here in absentia and in spirit.
Yes. Holographically represented.
Our topic today is we're going to talk about guild features in Star Wars: The Old Republic.
Woohoo!
Yay!
After the live broadcast, you can find our recorded episodes everywhere podcasts are found and on our YouTube channel. Aww. Just click the panel below or visit our website at thecouncilsotour.com. Also check out other members of our social media group. It's Facebook at facebook.com/councilsotour or Twitter at thecouncilsotour. You can also find our Patreon page at patreon.com/councilsotour. It's wonderful. You should Google us, The Council Sotour.
Uh-oh. I was like, okay. Might be having one more person be in attention.
Dun, dun, dun. Actually, yeah, we have salt. Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
We got more. I had a snow day today because my kids had a snow day today. It was awesome.
We had an ice day. I got my kids out. We were getting to the car. And my mother texted. She's like, "So is school canceled for you guys?" I'm like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah, this school district and our school district is out." I'm like, 1 second. Google it. Crap. 5 hours later, I got the voicemail from the school calling me saying school was canceled. I'm like, let's all go back inside.
That's how school canceling always works, though. They never let you know when you need to know. They only let you know after the fact.
5:45 right here. 5:45.
Well, I don't know what was going on with my network, but I guess my network was having trouble because it didn't ring through, and I didn't get the voicemail until hours later. I had to Google it and go to a local news website just to find out that school is canceled. So I'm like, everybody back inside, coats off, we're staying home. My son's like, Monday has been canceled. Let's go back to bed. I'm like, it's a good idea, babe. Let's go. It was great.
Yep, I hear you. Awesome.
So that is us. How about you, Redna?
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't snowed or iced over here yet because, living in the Southwest, we've been avoiding that slightly horrific weather. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely cold. I think the high was 55 here. Does that count for anything?
Oh my god.
Ooh, it's so cold.
Yeah. We had 34 this afternoon and got fog. So it was sleeting, snowing, and then fog.
Well, I'm very glad I no longer live in the Northwest and I no longer live in the Southeast or the Northeast, where everyone else has been getting stomped.
Well, I'm in the Midwest, and right now we're not getting snow, just freezing rain. So, 'tis the season. Ugh.
'Tis the season to be frozen.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I feel like Elsa's outside my door, just occasionally going. So, topic-wise, let's not talk about snow anymore because it's making me cranky.
Well, our topic for this week is guild improvements, guild ideas. What would we like for those of us who are in guilds to
Yeah,
see.
and we're thinking this is not about your own personal guild and what you want to do in your guild, but instead the stuff that the game offers for the guilds,
Right.
guild management tools, that sort of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I've just got a few things to say. Not a lot, but I nominate Elise to go first.
You just said you had some things to say.
I know, but then I threw you under the bus.
Truly, you did. Okay, well, I have a few things. I also got on the horn and chit-chatted a little bit with my former co-guild leader, Jess, for the things that she would like to see too, to see if there was anything that I forgot about. And she actually had some good ones too. So probably my biggest, probably one of my biggest beefs is the fact that we have to have one character be the guild leader for you to make any adjustments about stuff, especially moving people's rank around. I really wish that was account based and not character based. That's really, really annoying. If I'm on another character and somebody needs their rank changed, then I have to get off and get onto that character. And if I wasn't like PvPing on that one, it's just.
Well, I think that's very annoying. That was actually something similar to one of my things.
Oh yeah. I also wish the guild's member list was searchable.
Yes.
That's really annoying. You have to know everybody's legacy name, and when you get a bigger guild, like Unholy Alliance is only 90, so it's not that big, roughly. I think we have individual accounts, but there are some guilds that have 150, 200 people, and trying to know maybe as an officer or something, everybody's legacy name might be hard. Because I know people usually buy their character names than their legacy names, really.
Unless you're Jess.
Well, and the other thing is that legacy names aren't unique, so you could have multiple people with the same legacy. It's not going to be very helpful for you.
Right. So for me to find them, I can sort by alphabetically everybody's legacy names, but then I have to go through and just know what their legacy name is. If I could search by a character and be able to pull up that character, then I could get to what I needed to do.
Well, mine's the same on like 5. No, not 5 anymore. Sorry, we merged servers. On like 3 servers. So you just got to know mine. I'm important like that.
Mm-hmm. Or you could have some people like a friend of ours that likes to change their legacy name kind of frequently. So
yes.
So
yeah.
He I have to try and go, wait, is that? Wait, I thought you were. Okay, yep. Whatever.
Like, thanks a lot.
Yeah. I would like a guild voice channel in game. That would really be nice. I mean, I like Discord very much. I think it's a great tool. I really hate Engine, which is kind of like, I don't know if it's tied to TeamSpeak, but I think that has something to do with the game too. But I hate Engine, the web service.
The web service is terrible. Like it's
terrible. It's terrible.
It's honestly a genuinely terrible. It seems like a relic that back in the day when we were web 1.0, not 2.0, that it was a good little service for you to have little websites. But honestly, it is a terrible provision.
It is
for interacting with guild members. It's just not well designed at all.
Yeah, their app for it is pretty crappy too. It's super hard to navigate anything. I actually uninstalled the app so I could just go in on the browser. It's easier to do it on the browser than to use the app. I'm like, wow, this is so annoying.
Yeah, it is. And if you want to post something, you can't post it on mobile. You have to go onto a PC to do it. And that's horrible. I mean, like I'm on mobile more than I am on my computer. So
we don't see you in game that much.
Yeah. So it's very annoying. So
so actually, to your previous point concerning the sortability and utilizing the your legacy name, right? Your last name, basically. I know that originally they'd actually made some public statements to the effect that they weren't going to enable utilization of the legacy for anything because of security reasons. Like, basically, people didn't necessarily want they wanted to have multiple characters but not have everybody know exactly which those characters were, which is why you could turn off your legacy. But now in the guild window, they actually have a column for your legacy name. So one would assume, like, one of the things I would also like along those lines, I mean, this isn't the guild issue, but I'd like to be able to type /ignore and this person and their legacy and, like, frickin' just all their characters across that legacy.
Legacy ignore.
Like, this person is a racist spammer and, just completely ruining my game experience. I can just hit /ignore that person and be done. That way, no matter what character they change to continue to harass you, to whisper you and do whatever, you've got them all ignored. But
right. And that makes sense. I mean, in other games, like ESO does it that way. Or, I mean, you can choose to display your legacy name or your character name, either or both, in your guild name if you want, but all of your stuff is linked to your legacy name, like game wise. So
I like the hide version because of PvP. If I'm on a tune that I'm learning to PvP on, like my sniper's been interesting and my marauder, I don't want people to see my name on there because then I don't want them to associate that character with my good PvP tunes. Then be like, wow, you suck, and then later see him as a healer and automatically just quit. So yeah, I hide it on most of my tunes, and then on the few that I'm confident in, I don't hide that legacy name. So they see me later on, they're like, oh yeah, I PvP'd with you yesterday, awesome! Yeah, that's how I made friends on Shadowlands with PvPs. They're like, oh my gosh, it's you, we PvP'd yesterday.
Ironically, I've always actually, part of the reason most of my characters, although ironically my main right now has a longer name, but usually I have like 5 letters or less on my character names, especially the ones that I play PvP on, because that way I can turn off my legacy name and all it's got is a few little letters. And especially when you're playing like a stealth or whatever on Voidstar and you're going to plant a bomb, if you don't have this giant glowing beacon of red on there, for them to see, a lot of times people won't notice when you break stealth and start doing something. It doesn't catch their eye so much, and I don't want people to see this giant banner over my head from as far away as possible. So that's actually why I've always had really short names and turned off my legacy name.
Although you do have that one person who uses every available character, and when you get on fleet, it's literally taking up the whole, aisle when you walk down that little spoke of fleet. It's like, oh my gosh, look at that entire title over their head. I've seen quite a few of those. That's actually funny. So, I mean, there's different ways to utilize that.
Yeah.
So, Rhonda, what's a couple more of your points?
Well, okay, so it was mentioned in the chat room, so I added it as mine. But the guild messaging would be a great tool. Like, I know that other games have incorporated it by doing like an in-game mail that distributes to everybody's mail. But even if you could do something, well, actually, that's probably the best way I'd prefer to do it because it requires you to engage and notice it and click on it, as opposed to the guild message, which I've been trained at this stage to auto just hit the X without ever reading it.
Yep. Most of the time I have to go back in and open it up and read it because I'm just so used to just clicking OK to get through stuff.
Exactly. And some means, or even actually, I think what would be really cool, particularly with guild messaging, is if there was a way that you could also then do messaging based off of guild rank. So, like, all of your officers, the GM could send something to all of them, or, all of the ops group, and you've got different guild, or titles for each of your ops groups, so you can actually send messages amongst yourselves that way. I think that would be really awesome.
That would be good.
Just had the same one. Right. Just said the exact same thing. So keep going.
Yeah, because I would love to see something like that. Like, basically, if we could take the things that we depend on ESO, or not ESO, what's the website that... Engine, yeah, those little things, right? So the other one being the guild calendar. We should have a freaking in-game guild calendar that we can at least populate with our regular weekly events, or if we want to do a big, like, even for the Extra Life thing, like, I would like to put that on there. And then have them be able to therefore also communicate with us rather than through the website. They could be putting on there, hey, Ratgul is going to be here this week. The different in-game events themselves auto-populate onto that guild calendar. That's stuff, and that the irony being that guild calendar is something that people were ranting and raving that they didn't have it with the launch of this game. And while we have been getting certain little upgrades here and there, this seems like one of the most basic, fundamentally important guild tools, particularly for guild communication, is the guild calendar. And I can't understand. They clearly have some sort of calendaring system inherent to the platform because they know in advance and have, we've seen bugs arise where, hey, this event was supposed to start this day, but for some reason on the back end something went wrong. It was obviously set to auto start and it didn't, but just, surface that information to us. And then just give us a way to add a comment, so that we can make our own events. Yeah. Guild calendar is a big one that I just always hear about. The other one that I've never actually personally experienced, but I've heard about and sounds brilliant, and I would 100% get behind it, is the guild tax. And let the guild determine.
Explain.
Okay, so basically, whenever you loot a body, a percentage of those credits, like you can set it to 5%, will automatically just get deposited to the guild bank rather than into your bag. Or whenever you trash your gray items. Some small amount. That way you don't have to have somebody manually going over and clicking donate credits to the guild button. But instead, it's just a natural part of you playing the game. And you understand when you join a guild that that's something that you're agreeing to. And then that way you also have... you don't have to be constantly... It's like the PBS telethons, right? Where you're sitting there constantly being bombarded with, hey, we need more money, we're running low, we need more money, we're running low. Instead, you just have a system in place within the game that helps the guild to generate the credits necessary to manage its things. And this would be a great way also to additionally generate revenue for some of these events. The bigger, more responsible guilds that are doing really interesting things, like pod races on Tatooine or whatever, you've got resources available, and even our guild has been known to do not just Extra Life. We've done events throughout the year,
parties.
Big scavenger hunts or parties and those sorts of things. And then we would have somebody, almost every guild has somebody that's a big GTN master, knows how to generate a ton of revenues of their own.
Zacco.
So you let that person also be able to, then they can go on and use the GTN in order to get some rewards that are totally worth it, and even maybe help to grow income for the guild itself by manipulating the currency. I don't know.
Which
it's something
we do
I
that
like.
now, but at least for UA, we have someone who likes to play the GTN who manages the guild bank. But what you tend to have is a few people who donate a lot or bankroll the guilds, and then the majority of the people don't.
Yes.
Donate
Exactly.
any.
And quite frankly,
So-
I never donate. And primarily that's because I never had a guild bank. I don't use the guild bank, I don't use the guild resources, but I have no problem if it would just automatically be pulling it out, because I'd never feel the pain. It's just like, I've got a little investment app on my phone, right? And every week it pulls out like $5 and automatically puts it in, and it's slowly generating, and it's actually tied into the stock market, so it's growing in interest as well. I would like to be able to just log in the game and play the game and know that I'm contributing to the guild, because I would. And it would be painless if it was, 5 credits for everything I looted, It's like, I wouldn't see it, it wouldn't bother me, and credits are easy anyway, but getting to the stinking... Honestly, I don't even know if I know how to donate credits to the guild bank.
The little deposit button, just like your Legacy Bank, literally identical.
Oh, yeah, we do that on the Legacy Bank now, too, don't we?
So, I personally am against the guild tax just because I almost never use guild funds. And if I do, I put stuff in there. And as a former officer of a couple of different guilds, we enjoyed doing things like, hey, let's go kill commanders. We would do like everybody put in 25K or something like that, and we're all going to get different things. Like we'd have like little things like, oh, we've got pets, everybody donate 25K. We're going to do a holocron run or whatever. Or we'd do like 50K for this planet's holocron or this planet's world boss. Like we did stuff like that, and we never really had trouble getting funds. Like funds was not an issue for us. Especially on a rather big one that we were in fact, Magic Hub using that one as well. we were constantly doing stuff. It was just like, okay, what are we doing? You know, it was like twice a month, I think. What are we doing this month? What are we doing this time? And it was never a problem for us to make credits. I personally just think it's a matter of, do you want to do something together as a guild? I don't like the idea that some of my trash that I need desperately to sell is going to go to a guild. Like, I'd rather go guildless on a majority of my tunes than if that's the case. I would have like 1 or 2 tunes gilded. That's what would happen if that was the issue for me, because I need like every freaking credit. I'm always broke. That's why I'm against the guild tax.
And that's totally reasonable for you, and not. That's why you give the controls to the guild, and then when you're joining a guild, you know that, and you're right. Then you could have a bunch of your tunes ungilded, or you could put a bunch of your leveling tunes into a guild that doesn't have anything like that. Or you could even, you know, there are constraints that you could put on it where it's like, okay, the ops group members are going to be auto-taxed because they are the ones that are using it for repair bills all the time. Or quite frankly, you've got a rank in the guild that doesn't have access to the guild bank, or at least the credits in the guild bank, and they also don't end up paying taxes because they don't even have the ability to withdraw from it.
Stuff like that would be better. I would be more willing for that. Otherwise, that'd be like, screw you, Star Wars.
Right. I mean,
a little bit of a cheapskate.
It just kind of depends. Like, we've done a lot of the stuff that you talked about, at least UA from UA's perspective, but we've never asked people to donate for it. The guild has always just funded it.
I mean, it's bad.
So that was
just
take
some of my percentage. Okay. I mean,
that's just what we've always done, and we provide repair funds for people to, if they choose to use it. We cap it, but we do offer it. And again, the guild has just always absorbed that. So it was just a choice we made to do it that way.
Well, and I've even been in guilds when they don't have a system like this. They say, hey, listen, well, in order to be a ops member or an officer or, you know, someone with responsibility or interacting with the guild bank generally, they just say, hey, listen, we're going to check the ledger monthly. We want to make sure that you're donating X amount. If we notice that you haven't been donating for 3 months and you're still pulling stuff out of the guild bank all the time, we're going to, you know, demote you or put you into a position that doesn't have access anymore, you know?
That used to be my job, was finding people who were constantly withdrawing and never donating.
Exactly.
Yeah, I enjoyed demoting people. I'm like, demoted for you, demotion for you. You have a demotion.
Well, and the irony is,
that was
like,
a little fun.
The last time when, actually it was when the guild transferred, I ended up donating. This is when we transferred over to Harbinger originally off of the Bastion. I had donated like 2 weeks before the transfer something like 3 or 4 million credits because I was sitting on plenty and I was feeling good, so I donated it. And then we transferred, and 2 weeks after transferring, they said, we don't see any indication that you've been donating, but we see that you've been using this, that, the other, and you even withdrew a few items. And so they demoted me to some dumb title like, you know, Leech of the Universe or something like that. Like, it, you know.
Ouch.
And I was like, seriously, this is what you're going to do? I was like, all right, whatever. So I left that guild. Like, I mean, it's like, are you kidding me? Because they didn't even keep their own records to recognize that, oh, yeah, he actually did just make a huge infusion, and we just transferred servers, and so those records aren't kept. You know, and never consulted me, never approached me or anything. I logged in, and I saw that this was done, and people were sitting there laughing at me like, why you got that title? I was like, drama I don't need to be a part of.
Yeah. I don't know.
So for mine, I have actually like guild ship things because I was a big guild ship decorator, and I was annoyed at some of these things, and I thought that this would be guild improvements that would be more like cosmetic type things. Giving away guild keys, like the keys to the guild ship, it is so freaking hard. You can't just like pick someone's legacy and give them keys, or you know, like pick a rank and give them all specific keys. No, you have to go through, and if you've got 500 people in your guild, you have to go through each single tune, and it's not alphabetical order or organized anyway. You just have to keep scrolling in this tiny little window to give people keys. That is so frustrating, and that's why like people, like guild leaders, give like 5 people keys, and they're like, all right, that's it. Like, I'm not doing all this again. So if you want something, you're gonna have to swap to that tune. So kind of what you were saying, Elise, with make it easier to as like give the whole legacy or something as a guild leader. That okay, well that's what I'm thinking. Like with the keys is that you should be able to give a legacy keys, because if you trust them on one character, why don't you trust them on another character? Like, that's dumb. But I think it should be limited to only characters of that legacy in the guild, and that way, like if they're in another guild, they can't jump on your ship and be like, "Oh, haha, we're gonna take all this."
They still haven't fixed the order.
No, it's really terrible, and I don't think they're ever gonna try. And honestly, it's very frustrating for me.
Wow.
I mean, I still have a guild that I'm guild leader of on a pub site on Starforge, and like that process is so frustrating. I'm just like, screw it. You've got a gold key. You've got a gold key. You've got a gold key. That's all. 3 people, gold keys. We got this. None of my alts that are in that guild have the keys either. It's very frustrating. Even if they have rank, you still have to give them keys, and that's the annoying part. Like, it doesn't come with rank. This is my highest officer. Like, there's not a little checkbox as a guild leader that you can check and say, give them this key. Like, you have to go in and manually give it to them, no matter what the rank is. I just think that's crap. So I think there should be something fixed on that, personally. Like, that would be a huge quality of life improvement for guild leaders and officers. Like, huge deal.
Well, also ranking people too, to go along with that. You have to do every single, you can't just set the legacy to X rank. Each character has to be ranked individually. Really annoying.
Oh, jeez.
See, but that one is a little easier, though. That one is a little easier, though, because you can do the alphabetical guild rank thing and then see all of them. So that one's slightly easier than the guild key. The guild key is just crap. That's crap. Okay, so another one is, I would like to see different types of guild ship. You know, you have all these different kind of strongholds, and the guild can buy the different strongholds, but you only get one ship, like one kind of ship. I'm not saying they should have 4 ships, but I'm saying, like, why do we have only one ship? Of all the ships out there, and even when you load into fleet, it shows different ships. Why does your guild ship only have one ship? Like, you can't have another ship. It just annoys me. I want something different. I get tired of it. You log in every single day, multiple times on a different tune, and you're really tired of seeing that same ship.
But this is a long time ago, in a galaxy that's already a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, right? So this is like millennia. So they haven't gotten creative enough to design more than one capital ship.
Well, I know that's garbage because I've seen some of the others, okay? I've been on those ships doing flashpoints and stuff, okay? So I call bull crap on that. Another thing is, I love how you can decorate all the ships and stuff, but I would love for them to give you, like, options for the different colors. Like, I don't know, I think it's so bland. Like, you can put as many decos as possible all around, but it still just feels bland. It doesn't feel like it's ever going to be like a homey type thing. Like, your strongholds you can make freaking fabulous, but the ships, they still just feel ugh, even after all the decos. And it takes forever to decorate guild ships, literally forever. So I'm like, all that work and you still feel bleh at the end. It's very unfulfilling. I would like to see something fixed, like maybe so like you could change like the color of a wall or something. All this crafting stuff that we have, why don't they utilize that? Make it something that you can apply. You can dye your armor, you can put tunings in your weapons, you can change your strongholds, but you still have one ship stock that never changes, and that personally annoys me.
We can't do it on the houses either. So you'd figure if they could do it in the guild ship, you could do it in your stronghold too. But
right.
Yeah, no, I'm down with you on that one. Warframe, to bring in, like I always do, another game, you actually can change the interior and the exterior of your ship, which is basically like your stronghold. So in that game, and you have this huge color palette. Like, they sell, it's one of their ways of funding the game.
Are you talking about like the walls and
walls or
the
walls,
the color of the bare walls?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's just, it's boring. It's bland. And you see it multiple times. You know, every time you load in, you see this ship, and it's just like, after a couple of years, I'm really super freaking tired of those walls. Like, really tired of them. I love the game, and I love being able to go to different planets, but that ship, no, you always have that ship. That's all you get.
Battleship Gray.
Yeah.
It's always Battleship Gray.
Woo! So those are like cosmetic guild improvements, like, for me. The only thing, like, guild function-wise, that wouldn't be cosmetic or anything, that I would think would be a huge improvement, I really like that there is officer chat. Like, Redden was talking about messaging and stuff. Like, I really like that there's officer chat, but I kind of wish there was like in Discord, how you can make different channels and stuff. I kind of wish there was a chat like that, like in Guild. So you could be chatting in this thing, and when people, load back in, you can open this back up and say, oh, that's what we talked about yesterday. I forgot all about that. Because when you log off a character, you lose all your chat. Like everything's gone. And I get that can take forever with all the stuff, so I don't really know how they do that. But I would like to see something like that. Yeah, that you have the option to turn those on or turn those off. Because if you don't want that every time you log in, you could just, check a little thing in your preferences saying you want that turned off. But I personally think something like that would be great, just because, especially if you're in an ops group and they're like, oh, well, I'm going to swap characters. And you're like, okay, well, I'm going to get a healer because this DPS dropped, and someone else is like, oh, I'll join, but, I need to save this lockout. Whatever, like how stuff like that happens all the time. So I would just like to be able to log into a character and have that log there and be able to whisper that person, hey, this is that tune, instead of saying, what was that person's name? Oh, I had to write it down. I can't remember. And then sometimes you lose your spot in the apps group because you can't remember who to message. And personally, that's annoying. I'd like to see something about that fixed. Like, I think it should be a guild thing, because then you can chat in guild. The only thing is, I guess if you're not on the gilded tune, then you wouldn't have access to that. But again, an incentive to be gilded. So, I don't know. Those are some of my ideas. That's personally
well, I guess, or the other side of it would be if you could at least get... So you've got officer chat. Why not have ops group member chat? Or,
yes,
like basically different tiers of chat that as you're categorized within the guild, you've got various chat rooms, but they're still tied to the guild. So then you could have, okay, I've got these 3 tunes that I tend to bring into the ops group. Well, they're all classified as ops members. So then no matter when you switch, you're still in that little chat subgroup.
See, I don't like the C-join channels. Like, they're like, oh, C-join this for chat and stuff, because whenever I see yellow across my screen, like, I think of people dead, or like messages from logging in. Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, I don't like messing with all that stuff in chat. I don't like changing the colors and stuff like that, because Star Wars recently has changed like the colors on the maps and the colors of groups and stuff, and all that just throws me off, because after 4 years of my group members being blue or purple or whatever, and then now they were purple, and now I'm purple on the map, really throws me off.
Yeah, that really irritates the piss out of me.
That's super annoying. Like, I've been purple, my group members have been purple for 3-4 years, and then suddenly they're like, JK, you're purple now. Oh, it's super confusing to run in a group now. Super confusing. So I don't like all the color changes and stuff like that. I don't like them messing with that, because it really throws off my gaming groove. So I would just like a chat of that, so it's just fixed. I don't have to change the stuff. I don't have to readapt. You can just have that there. I do like that idea.
So
anyway.
Actually, it just struck me, one of the big things that none of us mentioned that would be, I would assume, be phenomenal is cross-faction guild.
That would be cool.
Like, okay, maybe there are certain things that are in the way, like technologically, I don't know. Except that /say already works, so why can't I have a cross-guild chat? And the other thing is, we've already got Legacy, where you can transfer from one faction to another across your characters, so why not have a guild bank that's also like cross-faction, right? You can deposit into the guild, pub or imp side, whichever. You can still go in there and get it or donate there. Yeah, I mean, like, I would really quite appreciate that, particularly now that within the game we're at a point where factions no longer even exist. What's the point to this archaic separation with our guild?
Yeah, it's very annoying when you have something that's going to be on one side and you need to go see if anybody's on the other side that maybe got confused or don't realize that it's time for XYZ event, and then we have to get off that character, and if we're in a group, now we have to drop a group, and then somebody has to invite us back when we come back. It's very annoying.
Exactly.
So it'd be nice to be able to message over on the other side and be like, hey, does anybody want to do blah, blah, blah? Yes, it's very.
I want to see something cool where you can like go against your own guild for like, say, a smuggler trying to get stuff into the Empire. You can have your smuggler tune try to smuggle stuff over on the Empire, and that'd be like an actual mission for you to do, and you can get busted by your guildmates or something, like a guild war of your own guild, like pub side guild versus M side guild, especially the freaking huge guilds that are like massive. They could really benefit from that. Instead of just conquest, you could actually have something that would be cross faction, but still would be pub against imp, and you could do it with your own guilds. I honestly think something like that would be freaking sweet. Just saying. It won't ever happen, but it's a cool idea.
Speaking of large guilds, I have to say that I would really like them to. I don't know if it's really exactly on topic or not, but speaking of Conquest, I would really like them to be able to make that work a little bit better for smaller and medium-sized guilds. It's very, very frustrating. We had an event every Sunday night to do commanders to be able to, because the pub side ship is not done. And when CXP hit and all that stuff kind of got exploded, pretty much we just kind of gave up, because one particular guild, people in the Harbinger, or excuse me, Satil Sean knows very well which one it is, always manages to get the commanders. And I think we spent like 2 hours one night running around looking at all of them. We ended up with nothing, and it was just really disheartening. And then after they made all the CXP changes, we couldn't even craft them anymore. So, or there was something like the dark projects or whatever ended up changing, and so we couldn't really even make them ourselves. It was just like
Oh, really? I have like 30 of them in my bank. You guys want them?
I don't know if that's changed or not, but when that all went down, that pretty much like went away, and they may have fixed it since then, but we kind of haven't restarted that project of trying to finish the Wookiee Mistake guild ship, because it was just, I think it was like 3 weeks straight of not being able to do commanders at all, that we just kind of went.
Well, that's cool, because I crafted some like encryption thingies, and I should totally let you guys have those, because I was like, Unholy Alliance is finished, so what am I going to do with this stuff? And they don't sell for a whole lot, so I was like, I guess I'm just going to hold on to it. So I forgot to even check the pub side.
Yeah. That's a thought.
So I should.
Yeah, I actually probably have some of those as well.
I love the crafting.
Yeah, I would really like it if they would do something about Conquest. And I know it's been brought up to the developers multiple times, but it hasn't been fixed. It really is a problem.
So, actually, I have a question. Decorate, because this struck me when you were talking about the keys for the guild ships and stuff like this. Is there any reward for having decorated out your ship or expanded the different rooms for the guild stuff? I know, of course, as an individual, you get to contribute to your conquest points, increase the percentage of your contribution by decorating up to, what is it now, 200% is the max or something like that, which you can do across multiple strongholds. Do you generate any benefit for doing that within the guild?
There's a guild bonus, isn't there?
I would think so, but to be honest with you, I really don't know the answer to that question.
I totally want to log in and check now. I thought there was a guild bonus, but it could be like guild score that I remember seeing, now that I think of it.
And then I guess the only
good question.
Major question I have for you is, like, other than, it would be nice, what is it that they could do to, like, do you have any ideas on how what they would change or what they could actually do in order to make the conquests a better experience for a medium or smaller size guild?
Sadly, I would have to do some serious research to sit down and come up with ideas. I am aware and have done some conquests, but I am not like super into it like some of the fellow guild members are. I really am not the person to have the answer to that question. I just know it's not currently working when we have attempted, like hardcore attempted to get stuff done, like, commanders to just be able to finish our pub guild ship. We couldn't do it. And the big reason why is because someone always had the commanders when we would get out there. It didn't matter, like, if we changed the times.
Well, they have people camping it and stuff. Like, the second they respawn, they're like, all right, everybody in. And they, like, summons people, and you've got 24 people, boom, let's kill these commanders. Your tiny, 8 to 9 man group doesn't stand a chance. Like, it's ridiculous.
And when you have the same guilds in roughly the same positions every single week, you have to ask the question, why is that? Is it just because it is the only thing they do, or is there other reasons? And I think there's a lot of them, but rarely do you see smaller guilds. It's always large ones. So you have to ask the question, why is that?
Well, then you get the smaller guilds that get the crappy planets that like nobody's going for. So yeah, you could win that, but it's like, man, it took forever and the rewards were so not worth it.
Now, I do have one idea. Warframe, again, has clans, and they have multiple things that go along with that in that game. But in Warframe, what you can do, what they've done to counteract this kind of a thing, is they actually let smaller guilds group up and combine together. And they have like these like transit cores. Yes. So you can make alliances with multiple guilds, and generally it's the smaller ones that do it. And then they all kill like a section. And then what happens in Warframe is that if you hold these like sections, people go and they do like missions in them, but I think they get like a percentage of the earnings that you get out of it for using that like link or something. I can't remember exactly the bits and pieces, but there's a plus for the guilds that hold it, and then it's still available for like your regular person who isn't in that guild. Like it's but that's one thing that they could do, is let smaller guilds form some kind of alliance to then be able to have the same bargaining power as, one large guild.
Or here's an idea, since we were talking cross-faction, that if you like have an option to link guilds, so if you have a pub side and an M side guild, you can link them and they share Conquest instead of having to divide it up, because a lot of the achievements for crafting or for the commanders is legacy bound. So if you do it on an M side toon, you can't get credit for it on a pub side toon. So I think something like that would be really great for Conquest-wise, guild-wise. Like you would have to have a pub side and an M side guild that acknowledged each other and would allow the connection. So that way you can't have just a random pub guild sucking off of your imp guild, So I think you'd have to like have a connection on both sides saying like, yes, we acknowledge that we are together. So I think that would solve a whole lot of problems, because I know I have a few friends that I'm like, hey, let's do Conquest stuff. And they're like, yeah, we're on pub side. I'm like, oh, my crafter's on imp side. I've already got half of my Conquest done. I want to do it on this toon. Like, I just think it really sucks because you're limited. And so, yeah, even if you do go help your other friends on the other side and you're doing that Conquest stuff, then you're also losing out Conquest time that you could be doing on a pub side toon. I honestly think that would be a massive improvement to Conquest. It would make people more interested in doing it because they don't have to divide and they don't have to pick a toon. It's just all together. You could still have toons to max out personal caps, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to, like, pick, like, oh, my pub side toon, oh, my M side toon. That's personally what I think.
That's not a bad idea
super
either.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
I guess.
So there's two ideas.
And just from the chat room, so we did have somebody mention that there could be different tiers to compete in. So the winning equates to taking over the planet, right?
Yes.
So then if you've got different tiers, I wouldn't know how those tiers would be dedicated other than perhaps like participation or something like that. On the flip side, you could also say, all right, we've got within our group, like each guild can only commit X amount of people to participate in the guild conquest. So like the top 20 people in any guild go and contribute and compete that way. You might end up, so you end up having a team within the guild that represents.
Such fits.
Wow. Yeah, but that would make it kind of cutthroat.
It would make it cutthroat, but it would also
Could you imagine
be
for one
easier
of
to
those
make it a fair
big
competition.
conquest guilds how they would do that?
They would throw massive fits. There would be riots in the streets. I'm not saying this is a bad idea. I'm just saying, like, these mega guilds that only exist because of Conquest or PvP, or especially, like, when they pick planets that get points from PvP, because that's mostly how I max out. Oh, that's right,
because different planets have different benefits, don't they? Ugh.
Right, so, like, the different planets you pick gives different rewards. So a lot of times we would pick a planet, like I would go intentionally and invade a planet on a toon that was high in PvP and crafting, because, like, only of the 15 people that participated in Conquest were PvPers and crafters, and so it doesn't make sense to go invade another planet if you're not going to go and do, Starfighter and the like commanders and stuff like that if you're just doing PvP and crafting. Because if you do your 2 dailies and your weekly and you craft like 3 things, boom, you're maxed if you've got all your stronghold bonus done. Like, that's how fast it was. So we just swapped from tune to tune. So even though only 15 of us were participating in it, we would still get up on the board and get to like number 7 with just 15 of us doing that stuff. So personally, I don't really know how the tier thing would work. It'd be interesting to see if they could, but I just think it would be better. I almost think that your idea, Brenda, is pretty good with like putting a cap on who can participate. I mean, they would burn down the world, basically, throwing a fit. The mega guilds, they would throw such fits.
Well,
but I personally would love to see it because I hate mega guilds, and I won't be in one except for maybe with one tune for the pure purpose of conquest.
or the achievements themselves, yeah.
Right.
The interesting, because it does make you sit and wonder how much of this would actually end up being resolved if we didn't have this hard cap of 500 characters. It's not even 500 accounts; it's 500 characters to a guild. Mm-hmm. And I know that there's some back-end coding thing that makes that like necessary because they've tried to adjust it. And I think it was fewer than that originally, but 500 seems to be the best they've been able to do. So something gets bogged down when they start getting much above that. But so what you've got is, just for anybody who perhaps hasn't experienced what we have, some of these mega guilds, like they're a mega guild with multiple guilds on the same faction, that they're filling up with characters, all of these different guilds, and then as a group coordinating which guild is going to which planet and taking over multiple planets at the same time, and they're all coordinating this way. So like they really are all about the conquest, and nobody can compete. I wonder how much that would be resolved if all of a sudden, the mega guild really was literally a mega guild, a single guild. And so, okay, fine, you lose on that planet, but at least you've got the other ones that you can access. Of course, the problem is it's the catch-22 that they've already now created multiple guilds, so why would they want to consolidate into a single guild when they know they can take a bunch of planets at the same time?
Yeah, I think it's kind of like broken to that point where if they tried to fix it, like I said, people would burn worlds down. Like, I don't think it would actually be beneficial. I would like to see some kind of renovation on it. I really would. I would like to be able to compete because, like I said, I hate the mega guilds. I don't want to have 70 people online when I log in because you can't ever read chat. It scrolls so fast. It's like guild fleet, or it's like, the fleet. It's like Gen chat. I just don't. Yeah, I'm not interested in that in a guild. When I get in a guild, I want to know people. It's a social thing for me. So if I get into a mega guild, I don't know people. I can never keep track of that many people. There's no way. So when I get into a guild, I want to look at the people online.
You start turning off guild chat just like you do general chat because it's just this wall of constantly flowing text. Which is actually ironic because it would go back to your idea if we could actually have some sort of segmented guild chat system so that at least when I log in, the people that I am familiar with and work together with within the guild, I can still communicate with them. That would be beautiful.
Or like a friends list chat. Like people on your friends list could be in a chat like that. So then if you turn off all of their chats, whenever the people you want to talk, you'll see it no matter what character they're on. Oh my gosh, that would be great. But then you'd have to have a legacy friends list where you could friends list someone's legacy. And then, then when you get into that chat, then they could say, hey, I friended you, blah, blah, blah. I'm this character from, when we did this operation. Oh, excellent. You want to do another group? Sure. Something like that would be super great. Because then if you wanted to be in a mega guild, you wouldn't have to see, like you said, a wall of chat.
Yeah. And actually, to that point, the one thing worth mentioning is that the problem, the bigger problem that is it's more easy to defend, right, is my ability to / follow or friend your legacy. That's where there are a lot of complications because of stalker behavior, right? So somebody follows your whole legacy, no matter which character you go to, you constantly hop around. Not true. You could. But they could still also be tracking you and see, okay, well, I can't talk to them, but I can / who this person and see what planet they're on and follow their legacy wherever they are and harass them, snipe them, just generally make their gaming experience miserable. But I could see a workaround in this if they were to implement a feature where you're notified that they want to become friends with your whole legacy and that you have to give approval before it is allowed.
Magic Hubby brings up a good point. He said you could do it with like linked friends, like if you both friended each other. And so, like, if one of you unfriends the other person, like the other legacy, then it would break that link, and so you can't stalk them. But then it's like,
Right, a
you know, it's
reciprocal.
like on Facebook where you both accept friends requests and you can see each other's stuff. It would be something like that. It'd be like a linked friends thing. I actually think that's a great idea because then that would protect you from people messing with you. If you break that link, if you sever it, you know, then it's like, oh, well, they can't screw with me now because I got rid of them. So even if they want to keep stalking you, you broke the link, you know?
You have to ask in ESO, you have to ask for permission to friend someone. I think you have to do that with Warframe. I'm not sure about Destiny, but
I think it's just like whatever your word is, it searches in their title, their guild, and legacy. So like say on Pubside when I want an invite and I do /who Wookiee Alliance, a lot of times it brings me with people with Wookiee like in their legacy name and such. Because in the regular name and in the guild, I know they're not there. I know they're not in the guild, but that name. So when you go and find that person, it has it in their legacy name. So I think it does any information pertaining to them when you do the /who. That's what I found.
Interesting.
That's lame. Speaking of which,
yeah, go ahead.
Since you mentioned getting an invite to guilds, I would really like it if they would institute where you can invite people even if they're not in game.
I'm sorry.
That would be.
Yeah.
I would really like it that you could send a guild invitation even if you weren't online.
So that is
they could have an app for that.
Well, I mean, so like for example, again, ESO does it that you can send an invitation to the guild and it'll sit there and wait until you come in and accept it. So even if you're not on, I'm on and you're not on, let's say, Magic, and you wanted to get your tune invited into Wookiee Alliance, let's say, I could sit there and just while I was on, go through all my thing and do all the invites of all the new characters that people had, send them off, and then, you know, log out. And then when you logged back in, you could accept the invitation and be done. That, like, would be really nice. Because I've gotten out of bed to go invite people. Jess has done it. I mean, like, we've, like, dropped what we're doing and get on, logged on to get people invited. And it's really kind of inconvenient.
Yeah,
when we
hey,
could
guys,
just,
I
like,
made a new tune. It's like, can I get in the guild?
Right, and we're not
especially
trying
when
to
you
be
make a
rude.
new one at like 4 a.m.
I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but it's just, you know, it would be nice to just be able to, okay, I'm not on now, but I'll do it tomorrow morning or something. And you're, you know, in bed because you were up at 4 a.m. in the morning making your new tune. And you know, if I could just send those off, you know, just like all the rest of the chores I might have to do and then leave, and then you're not an inconvenience and I'm not inconvenience. So that would really be nice.
I just think they need an app for that. Oh, you need an invite?
As long as it's
Done.
an opt-in feature, because it's like walking around the Origin planet and you're just constantly getting spammed with guild invites. And now I log off and they're going to keep spamming me with guild invites, you know? It's like...
but that's how it works. Like you can, and in ESO, you can actually, in the thing, you can choose to have all guild invites muted, like denied.
I think you can do that in Star Wars too.
So, I mean,
it's like auto decline.
Yeah,
I think
you can.
Is what it's
right. Exactly. So, I mean, for it in that game, somebody sends you the guild invite and you have to accept it or decline it. And it'll sit there until you do one or the other. So, that would be nice. It happens with the sent friend requests too. When someone wants to friend you, it does the exact same thing.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, it is kind of creepy that someone can keep you on your friends list even if you like take them off and you don't want them on your friends list. I recently encountered that with the server merge. I had left the Bastion to kind of get away from somebody, and when we merged on Harbinger, I got all those characters back. And since I had left that server, some of them still had them friended. And I log in one day and I'm like, I'm going to level my sniper that I never leveled. She's been level 17 since I moved servers, you know. I'm going to go ahead and level this sniper because I like her. start leveling her, and boom, I see the little thing pop down where my friend logged in. I'm like, friends? I don't have any friends on this tune. And I'm like, oh, I do have friends. Oh, no. And it was the person I was trying to get away from. And I was like, oh, no. And I looked on their friends list. I had like 9 of their characters friended. I went and /ignore. I was like freaking out. And I'm like, oh, no. Now they know my legacy name because they probably seen me online. And I'm like, this is terrifying. I really would like them fixing something like that. That'd be great. I'd be happy with that.
Well,
in my opinion.
Question then. Was there something else that you wanted to say? Some kind of disclaimer or anything here, Elise, it looks like? Before we wrap up?
Overall, we actually have quite a few things that we can do in this game that you don't see in others. Some things are better done on other games, but SWTOR isn't too bad. Destiny has hardly anything in game. Everything is off game. Even there's no like group finder in Destiny. You have to do that off, like use out of game apps and stuff.
I've heard about that. Like you basically have to use the forums in order to form up your groups, and then you get online. And meet each other.
And they have apps like that are built to help you make groups, and then you have to come in. And the new Destiny 2, so that was Destiny 1. Destiny 2 has something, but it's only slightly more than that. Like it's still not group finder. So and they have in-game chat because it's console. Consoles have had in-game chat forever. Mm-hmm. But like there's no, for PC, they have no like text chat, which is just like...
They have all the weird overlays for like Mumble and TeamSpeak and stuff, and that causes all kinds of crappy problems in your computer. I don't want the extra stuff. Just put it in my game. Right. And I hate like Origin and Steam's chat system. Like I hate those so much.
So I mean, it's just mind blowing. I know the PC players have been griping about the fact that the PC version of Destiny 2 doesn't have like text chat, because we've had text chat on PC MMOs for 15 years, 10 years, something. I mean, like a very long time. So that was a major gripe for them. But
well, and you would expect that with voice-to-text technology being as good as it is now, you could even incorporate some sort of integration for a console.
Oh my God, that would be so awesome. That would be so awesome. So awesome. Because having to stop in the middle of an operation and type something because you're with people that don't have like a mic or not on voice or whatever is a pain in the butt. So
yeah, it'd be really nice to click a button that says like text to speech. Oh my gosh, especially like in operations when someone's like, "Wait, what do you do here?" All right, well, Bestia, blah blah blah.
Oh yeah, the fight explanation.
Oh gosh, yeah, that would be so freaking sweet. Okay, Elise, bravo, that was a great idea. Bravo, I want that. Well, let's get on it right now. Craft an email to Eric. We'll get one to Charles, let's do this.
The other thing that actually came to mind as you were describing all this is that it would be kind of nice to somehow, and I don't know, this isn't a fully fleshed thought because literally just thought of it, but it would be neat to be able to like send out a request or an invite to like the guild and just say, hey guys, like, do you want to join me for Umbara? I'm gonna do a group. I'm gonna use the looking for group tool, but I want to extend the invite to the guild first. Anybody interested? Where they could just hit yes and join your group and be ready, and then you can queue up. Rather than having to like individually type invites to people for an operations group. Like, hey guys, we're gonna start. Who's interested? You hit the send button, and the whole guild, whoever's interested, just starts hitting. I'm in. Some sort of grouping feature within the guild, I think, would be pretty neat.
And it would be nice, too, if it was not in the text chat, in the...
Yeah, especially when people like Redna shut the chat off for people like us who are trying to talk to him. Redna.
Right. So
I hate that.
He's not the only one. There's
I know, Magic Hubby does it too. I'm like, didn't you read chat? Oh no, I have chat shut off. I'm like,
Right. Or you're in a cutscene, or whatever. You're like in
or a load screen, honestly.
Having to choose a
or AFK for a second.
Choose the thing, or somebody slamming their space bar or whatever. That would Yeah, that would be really nice, is if you could do some kind of alert. Hey, in 10 minutes, we're going to do Umbara, blah, 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 or something like that flash up.
But I think it should be like rank oriented, because you don't want like brand new people in the guild constantly spamming that stuff at you. Like that'd be super freaking annoying. Especially like you invite someone and they're the kind of people who want to like exploit the guild, and so they're just constantly spamming stuff just because they like the power of being like, oh, I can do this stuff. Then when they don't get that rank, you can always tell they're those people because they G quit shortly after. So yeah, I would like something like that.
Yeah.
All right. So we want to say thank you so much to everyone who showed up tonight, who participated. I think this was a really great discussion, personally. Sad Panda that Sechari couldn't be here. Unfortunately, life got in the way for him, and he wanted to tell you all that he had ideas, but, you know, he just couldn't bring them. So thank you. We appreciate it. We love you guys. We love that you love the game. We love that you love the show, because we love this show. And you guys being here makes it possible for us to do the show. Otherwise, we'd be very sad and lonely talking to ourselves. I mean, we like each other, but that's just weird. So thank you again. We really appreciate it. And we can't wait to see you next week.
Yes. And that brings us to the end of the episode. The council is adjourned. If you'd like to reach us, you can email us at thecouncil@thecouncilswotor.com. You can find Elise on Twitter at abrown35. Magic Ace at @themagicace. That's with the JK, the real spelling. Me at R3DN4. And our beloved Emperor, Sechari, at I am Sechari. Don't forget to visit our website, www.thecouncilswotor.com, and follow us on social media. Also, don't forget our Patreon page at patreon.com/thecouncilswotor. That's it for this week, guys. And remember, burn Odessin and bring me the ashes. I want them for my garden.
Because that's not creepy at all.
Not at all.
May the dark side be ever in your favor. I like that one better. Bye.
I understand.
You are on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
What? How can you do this? This is outrageous. It's unfair. How can you be on the council and not be a master?
Take a seat, young Skywalker.
Forgive me, Master.